Little helpers.
Hi everyone. So today in this 5-minute video series or memorize series, we are going to see the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, that is UDHR. So this declaration is a milestone document in the history of human rights because it is the declaration for the first time which conceptualized that fundamental human rights are to be universally protected. And since it is a very big success, it is translated into over 50 languages. Also, this declaration totally contains 30 articles, and this was adopted by the General Assembly on 10 December 1948. And since then, this day is considered and celebrated as the Human Rights Day. And the preamble of this UDHR says that human rights mentioned in this declaration are proclaimed as common standard for all individuals and also for all nations. So this is a common standard has been set out in this declaration, and it contains 30 articles. So for the UGC point of view, the question will be like the principles set out in Article 2 of the UDHR is mentioned in which article of the Indian Constitution. Like they may ask directly like this, or they give four options here and four options from the Indian Constitution, and they will ask you to match. So you have to be thorough with the fundamental rights articles and fundamental duties and DPSP from the Indian Constitution, as well as Article 1 to 30 from the UDHR to answer such type of questions. So let's see the Article 1 from the UDHR here. Article 1, it says that all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. So this clearly point out Article 14 from the Indian Constitution, as well as the second line, they are endowed with reason and conscience and should act towards one another in a spirit of brotherhood. So this word spirit of brotherhood you can see in the Article 51 A, caps A, clause E, so which says that to promote harmony and spirit of common brotherhood among all the people of India. So you can see there. Then the Article 2. Article 2 says that everyone is entitled to all the rights and freedoms set forth in this declaration without distinction of any kind. So this is clearly point out the Article 15 of the Indian Constitution, which is very easy. There is no need of studying all the points. Just grab the key point of each article so that you can connect it easily with the Indian Constitution. Then the Article 3, it says that everyone has the right to life, liberty and security of person, which is life and liberty is clearly in the Article 21 of the Indian Constitution. So Article 3 is the corresponding article for 21 in the Indian Constitution. Then Article 4, it says that no one shall be held in slavery or servitude. Slavery and the slave trade shall be prohibited in all forms. So this slavery is provided in the Indian Constitution in some other terms like forced labor and bonded labor. So you can say Article 23 is the corresponding for the Article 4 of the UDHR. So you take note of the articles, corresponding articles in the Indian Constitution in your notes. Article 1 is 14, Article 14 as well as Article 51 caps A clause E, and Article 2 is Article 15. Article 3 is about Article 21 of the Indian Constitution, and Article 4 is Article 23 from the Indian Constitution. Let's move on to the next articles. Article 5. Article 5 says that no one shall be subjected to torture or to cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment. So, this clearly says that no one should be tortured. This comes under, impliedly comes under Article 21 of the Indian Constitution. Then Article 6, it says that everyone has the right to recognition everywhere as a person before the law. There is no corresponding article in Indian Constitution, but you can also take Article 21 for this. And then article 7, it says that all are equal before the law and are entitled without any discrimination to equal protection of law. All are entitled to equal protection against any discrimination in violation of this declaration and against any incitement to such discrimination. This is nothing but you pick up these 2 points. All are equal before law and equal protection of law. These words are clearly mentioned in article 14 of the Indian Constitution, so take note of that. Then article 8, it says everyone has the right to an effective remedy by the competent national tribunals for acts violating the fundamental rights granted him by the constitution or by law. So this says that in case your rights, fundamental rights are violated, you can get the effective remedy by going before a competent national tribunal. This is clearly provided in article 32, which says go to Supreme Court in case your fundamental rights are violated, and go to a high court in case your fundamental rights are violated is provided under article 226. So article 32 and 228 can be matching with this article 8 of the UDHR. Then article 9, it says that no one shall be subjected to arbitrary arrest, detention and exile. This is provided under article 22 in the Indian Constitution, which says that protection against arrest and detention in certain cases. So article 9 corresponding article is article 22 from the Indian Constitution. Then article 10, it says everyone is entitled in full equality to a fair and public hearing by an independent and impartial tribunal in the determination of his rights and obligation and any criminal charge against him. This is nothing but the principles of natural justice, which says that there should be a fair and public hearing, and the judge should be an independent and impartial judge. So automatically it also comes under article 21 of the Indian Constitution. So take note of this. Article 5 is equivalent to article 21 of the Indian Constitution. Article 6 is also a equivalent section article for the article 21, and article 7 is equivalent to article 14 of Indian Constitution. Article 8 is equivalent to Article 32 and 226 of Indian Constitution. Article 9 is equivalent to Article 22 of Indian Constitution. Article 10 is equivalent to Article 21 of the Indian Constitution. So let's move on to the next slide. Next, the Article 11. Article 11 says that everyone charged with a penal offence has the right to be presumed innocent until proved guilty. So this means that the criminal jurisprudence is what that a person is presumed to be innocent until his guilt is proved. That is what provided in 1, and in 2 it says that it's about ex post facto law, which is provided under article 20 class 1 of the Indian Constitution, which says that no person shall be held liable for an act which is not an punishable offence at that date, and at that particular date if there is no law to penalize such act, it shall not be held that person shall not be held liable or guilty, is what this says. Also it has two aspects. One aspect is about that guilt, and the second aspect is about the penalty or punishment. No person shall be given a punishment or penalty which can be imposed upon him by law on that date. For example, I can explain this by saying that a person has committed an offence today, and for this offence the penalty is only 100 today, but tomorrow the penalty if the penalty changes to 500 rupees, he cannot be imposed with 500 rupees punishment, since the date on which he committed the offence the penalty is only 100. So the heavier punishment which came after the date on which he committed the offence cannot be imposed upon him. This is what ex post facto law means. So it is provided under article 20 class 1 of the Indian Constitution. Then article 12, it says no one shall be subjected to arbitrary interference with his privacy, family, home or correspondence nor to attacks upon his honor and reputation. This is clearly the law set right in the Justice Puttaswamy case, that is the right of privacy. So you can mention Article 21 for this. Then for Article 13, it says everyone has the right to freedom of movement and residence within the borders of each state. This is nothing but Article 19 clause D from the Indian Constitution. And it also says that everyone has the right to leave any country, including his own, and to return to his country. This is so simple. And Article 14 says that everyone has the right to seek and to enjoy in other countries asylum from persecution. This is nothing but getting asylum in a country because of persecution, that is some fear that they may got attacked. So for that they will seek asylum. So everybody has that asylum right. But the class 2 says that there is an exception to this right to seek asylum uh, in case of non-political crimes. That means in case of murder and theft, you cannot seek for the right to asylum in some other country. Only in case of political crimes, for example, the state itself is torturing its own country members, they can seek asylum in the next country. So the next thing, Article 15. Article 15 says everyone has the right to nationality. So also it says no one shall be arbitrarily deprived of his nationality or denied the right to change his nationality. So Article 15 says there are two types of rights: right to nationality as well as right to change the nationality, and no one shall deprive this right arbitrarily. There is no corresponding article in the Indian Constitution for this. Then coming to Article 16, it gives men and women of full age, that is a person with who have attained the majority, the right to marry and found a family irrespective of any discriminative factors like race, nationality or religion. And also it says that as far as the right to marry, they also have the right to dissolve the marriage, that is get divorce. And also it says that two members of the marriage should get enter into the marriage life with free and full consent. This is so simple. And you can give the Article 21 as a corresponding article for this. And then Article 17, it says that everyone has the right to own property. This is provided under Article 300 caps A of the Indian Constitution, which says that no one shall be deprived of the right to property except as per the law. So that is what given under Article 17 of the UDH. So Article 15 there is no corresponding article. Article 16, Article 21 is the corresponding article. Article 17, Article 300A of the Indian Constitution is the matching article. So next going to Article 18. Article 18 says that everyone has the right to freedom of thought, conscience and religion. You can see this right under Article 25 to 28 of the Indian Constitution. That is the right to freedom of religion. And then Article 19 says that everyone has the right to freedom of opinion and expression. This is provided under Article 19 clause 1 clause A of the Indian Constitution. So this is very easy, don't complicate. Then Article 20, it says that everyone has the right to freedom of peaceful assembly and association. So Article 19 clause 1 clause A subclause B of the Indian Constitution speaks about the peaceful assembly, and 19 clause 1 subclause C speaks of the association. So under this article there are two types of rights under the Indian Constitution. Then Article 21, it says that everyone has the right to take part in the government of his country. Also he has equal access to the public service in his country. And also the subclause 3 speaks of the universal and equal suffrage. So for this universal and equal suffrage, you can see the corresponding article in the Indian Constitution, Article 326. Universal and adult suffrage is the word which is provided under that article. So you can match with that. So Article 18 is related to right to religion under Article say 25 to 28 of the Indian Constitution. Article 19 is about 19 clause 1A of the Indian Constitution. Then 20 19 1 clause B and C of the Indian Constitution. For Article 21, there is this universal and adult suffrage which comes under Article 326 of the Indian Constitution. So up to Article 21, it says about the civil and political rights, whereas from Article 22 to 27 you can see about the economic, social and cultural rights. Okay, this also you should be aware of because this may also come in the MCQ. Now coming to Article 22, it says that everybody has the right to social security and economic, social and cultural rights. For corresponding article you can mention 29 and 30 which speaks about the cultural rights under the Indian Constitution. Then coming to Article 23, it gives of 4 rights. The first one is right to work, to free choice of employment, to just and favorable conditions of work, and to protection against unemployment. For this you can mention the Article 41 which directly speaks about the right to work. And for that word just and favorable conditions of work, you can mention Article 42. It speaks about the favorable conditions of work. And then about the second right which says right to equal pay for equal work, which is provided under Article 39 clause D of the Indian Constitution. And then for the just and favorable remuneration, you can see Article 43 of the Indian Constitution which says that living wage for the proper standard of living. This is the corresponding article. And for the fourth right, that to form and to join trade unions, it is similar to some association forming. So it comes under Article 19 clause 1 clause C of the Indian Constitution. Then Article 24, it says that everyone has the right to rest and leisure, including reasonable limitation of working hours. For this you can mention Article 42 which speaks about the humane conditions of working and maternity relief payment. So that comes under this Article 24. So for 24 you mention 42. Again, once again I will repeat, Article 22 you have corresponding article 29 and 30 of Indian Constitution. Article 23 you have Article 41, 42, and for clause 2 you have 39D, and for 3 you have 43, and for the fourth right you have 19 clause 1 subclause C, and for 24 you have 42. Next, the Article 25. Article 25 says that everyone has the right to standard of living adequate for the health and well-being of himself and of his family. For the standard of living, you can mention Article 39 clause A of the Indian Constitution as well as Article 47 of the Indian Constitution. And for the words like right to security in the event of unemployment, sickness, disability, widowhood, old age, you can mention Article 41 which says that you can get public assistance in the circumstances provided under this. So then for the second right, motherhood and childhood, you can mention maternity relief provided under Article 42 for motherhood, and Article 45 which says that there should be elementary education for every children. You can mention 45 for this childhood and 40 2 for motherhood. Okay, moving on to the next article. Article 26 says that everybody has the right to education. In case of elementary education, it should be free and compulsory. In case of higher education, it should be on the basis of merit. Everybody knows that our right to education is provided under Article 21 caps A of the Indian Constitution. That is what you have to say. And this education should give, like, promote understanding, tolerance, friendship among all nations, racial and religious groups. Just keep this in mind. Then the third one says that parents have prior right to choose the kind of education, since they are the guardian and they are the well taker, so the parents are automatically getting that right. Then moving on to the article 27, it says that everybody has the right to freely participate in the cultural life of the community. So you can automatically mention the article 29 and 30, which says about the cultural rights in the Indian Constitution. Then it says that everyone has the right to protection of moral and material interests resulting from any scientific, literary or artistic production of which he is the author. There is no corresponding article in Indian Constitution, so just leave it. Then article 28, which says that everyone is entitled to social and international order in which the rights and freedoms set forth in this declaration can be fully realized. Also, taking the key point social order, you can find the corresponding article under 38 of the Indian Constitution, which says that social order should be ensured by the state. Then coming to the international order, you can find it in the article 51 of the Indian Constitution. Then moving to the next article 29, everyone has the duties to the community. So far as up to article 28, you have seen many rights. Now it says that you even have a duty to fulfill, that you should not violate the rights of the other. It is the duty of each person. So this is provided under article 29. The second clause speaks about some limitation, that is, which is very similar to the reasonable restrictions provided under Indian Constitution 19 clause 1 clause 2 to 19 clause 6. Then moving to the article 30, it says that nothing in this declaration may be interpreted as implying for any state, group or person any right to engage in any activity or perform any act aimed at the destruction of any of the rights and freedoms set forth herein. This is so simple. It says that you should not interpret this declaration in a manner it will distract the rights and freedom of the people. So simple. So in the next slide I will give you some story to remember this article 1 to 30 in a sequential manner. So the story is that a girl was born with her brother, like a twins. They were born at the same time, but their sex color is different. These kids were given full liberty by their parents, but they appointed one security to take care of them. But this kids doesn't want this person to accompany them everywhere. So they treated him as slave. They even tortured him and treated him in very inhuman manner and committed cruelty on him. This security always wanted himself to be treated as a man, and to get equal protection of law, he finally decided to move to the court. And before entering into the court hall, these kids made an arrangement that they arranged two persons to get this person arbitrarily, the security arbitrarily arrested and detained. So he couldn't attend the court on that day, and his fair hearing rights were violated. But even though he didn't attend the court, the impartial judge gave benefit of presumption of innocence to him and posted him back to the original job, that is the security job to the kids. But these children's, like thinking that they are giving a life lesson to this person, arranged two other person to keep him under the keep on surveilling the security. and hence the privacy of the security is violated. His reputation was gone. So finally, this security cannot digest this. So he decided to leave that country and seek for asylum. And in that process, a country accepted him and provided him with the nationality. In that country, he married a girl with her consent and bought a small property to reside there. And inspired by the principles of that country, he chose to follow the religion of that respective country. But even though he was practicing religion and all, he couldn't forget the past, and hence finally he decided to open up the things happened to him in the previous country. So he joined a small peaceful assembly and association and started speaking. But then it went on viral, and attracted by his speaking skills, the government invited him and rewarded him with voting rights. Also, as an additional reward, they provided him the job of social security, which he was working in the earlier country. But he chose politics as his work and rejected the offer. By joining the politics, he got a lot of leisure and resting period. His standard of living got improved. Then his wife got pregnant and they gave birth to a child. For the child, he gave education and he raised the child in the culture of that country and imparted the morals of that country. He also taught the child the social order, the duties, and the limitations, that is the restrictions. And he also advised the child that you should not interpret or misuse the rights in such a way that the twins does before. So this is the story. And now let's move on to connect this with the articles easily. Okay, so the first one is article 1 is about all humans are born free and equal, right? And also there is a word spirit of brotherhood. For that only I have given a girl born with brother. And for the article 2, sex color is different, that means that right against discrimination. Okay, then for article 3, their life is full of liberty, that is right of life, right to liberty and security. Okay, then article 4, right against slave. I'll use the pointer so that it will be easier for it to understand. So right against slavery and right against torture, cruelty and inhuman treatment, article 5. Then a right to be treated as a man, article 6. Equal protection of law, equality before law, that is article 7. And right to move to the court or national tribunal is article 8. And right against arbitrary arrest and detention is article 9. And the principle of natural justice, that is fair hearing rights, impartial judge, is article 10. And article 11 is presumption of innocence and ex post facto law, that is what I was given, I gave you posted back, that is ex post facto law, remember that. Then article 12 is privacy. Then article 30, he decided to leave the country means the right to leave the country and return the country, that is basically the right to movement is provided under article 13. And article 14 is about a right to asylum, and right of nationality is article 15. Okay, so right to marriage with the consent is article 16. Right to own a property is article 17. Article 18 is right of religion, conscience and worship. Then article 19, right to speak and expression. Article 20, right of peaceful assembly and association. Then article 21 is about right to take part in government. For that only I have added this statement. And the article 21 itself contains the universal adult suffrage. For that I have this voting rights. Then article 22, they appointed him as a social security. In addition, you have to remember that they appointed him as a social security. This shows how beautiful their economic, social and cultural rights are. So along with this, you remember this also. Then article 23 is right to work. For that only I given like he chose politics as his employment or work. Okay. Article 24 is right to rest and leisure. Okay. Then article 25 is standard of living and motherhood and childhood protection. For that I added this wife and child. Okay. Then right to education 26, and right to take part in the country's culture, that is 27. For that the statement. Okay. Then 28 is right to social order, and 29 there have been given that if there is a right there should be a duty, and also that right should have some reasonable restriction, 29. Then 30 is about should not, this declaration should not be interpreted in a manner that affect the intention of the declaration. Okay. So that I have added this statement. Okay. I hope this video is useful for you people, and in case you need some other topic to be given with clues or short tricks, you can comment that in the chat box. And also do subscribe the YouTube channel, so that in case any new video has been updated you will get the notification. Thank you for the um, hope, and thank you for the support you guys have been giving. Thank you.